Not too long ago, we started a new series where we took a look at specific Call of Duty games and then we picked out the best weapon in every single class. We talked about the best assault rifle, sniper rifle, SMG, everything, but what about the other side of the coin? What if we flip that topic on its head? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, and today we're going to be continuing that series. We're going to take a look back at Black Ops 2. But we're going to pick out the worst weapon in every class. So we're going to talk about the worst assault rifle, the worst SMG, shotgun, sniper, LMG, pistol, launcher, special weapons. And once you hear them all, I want you to tell me down in the comments what Call of Duty game you want us to do next on this series. Drop a like if you guys are enjoying the new Every Class series. And if you're enjoying the new face cam format that we're doing with the COD History series, welcome to the channel, Jimmy or Chaos. So we're going to start off with the worst assault rifle. Has to be, hands down, no doubt about it, the SMR. A while back, I made a video about pointless guns in COD history. I probably should have put the SMR on that list. I saw somebody comment saying I missed it. You're right. I should have put the SMR in the top 5, but I forgot it existed. That's how pointless it was. The SMR was a semi-automatic rifle that had moderate recoil, pretty low fire rate cap in return for a more or less guaranteed 2-shot kill, I guess. Sounds good on paper, but no. You know why? Because the FAL OSW existed in that game. The FAL was also a semi-automatic rifle in Black Ops 2, but it had no recoil, a higher fire rate cap, and was also a more or less guaranteed 2-shot kill. Oh, and had a bigger default magazine as well, just to make the SMR even more pointless. The SMR is one of those guns that always gets a handful of people defending it in my comment sections. I see you, and I don't get it. I don't understand why, because it's literally pointless compared to the FAL. Usually, in Call of Duty games, there are two guns that fit the same role. They have some distinct differences that give them both their own strengths and weaknesses, but the SMR has no selling point. It's literally outclassed by the FAL in every single department, to the point that it just kind of sucks in comparison. Again, the SMR and the FAL were both 2-shot kill semi-automatic weapons, but the FAL fired faster, kicked less, bigger magazine, so truly, why would you pick up the SMR and choose it? You wouldn't. Now, let's talk about SMGs. I bet some of you were probably expecting me to put the Cheekum here, and trust me, I debated it hard. But after looking at the list of SMGs in the game and thinking really hard about it, I have settled on the PDW-57 because while the Cheekum was awkward to use and rendered completely obsolete by the Scorpion Evo, the PDW was that pea shooter. Bouncy recoil, no positive attributes after it was initially nerfed. And when Black Ops 2 first came out, most of you know, this thing was arguably as good as the MSMC, which is wild to think about. But after Treyarch nerfed the accuracy straight into the ground, it sank to the very bottom of the tier list. I think it deserves the title of worst SMG in the game. The PDW in current form fires at 750 rounds per minute, which is one on what's on the slower side of SMGs. Hits for 18 damage. Now, generally speaking, the range values would let you kill in 3 to 5 shots, but that's still pretty slow with the fire rate being what it is, and I haven't even talked about the recoil, which was weirdly high for some reason. I guess Treyarch thought the 50-round default magazine needed balancing. So how they decided to balance it was by making the PDW bounce and sway in this really difficult to predict pattern, which meant the gun, it was a gun you could really only use in close range situations. But guess what? It was still completely outclassed at close range by every other SMG in the game because of that fire rate. If the accuracy wasn't so bad, maybe it would have been mid-tier. Sadly, that's not the world we live in today. Rest in peace to the vanilla PDW-57. All of us old school Black Ops 2 players will never forget you. Your fall from grace is one for the COD history books. Shotguns. Black Ops 2 had some amazing shotguns. The KSG, the Remington, even the revolving M1216 had a bit of a fan club because of the high DPS potential, but one shotgun that didn't, the S12. Nobody liked it. They didn't. Semi-automatic spam, shotgun, pitifully low damage stats, and some of the worst range values in Call of Duty history. The S12 would deal decent damage at point-blank range. Of course, it's a shotgun, right? But then it quickly dropped down to a pea shooter territory, and once you got back to your 12 meters, the pellets disappear completely, vanish, poof, gone, Thanos snap, making it completely useless beyond very close range. And again, it's not even like you were dealing great damage at close range to begin with. I guess you could say it was nice that the S12 came loaded with a 10-round mag by default. You felt comfortable, right? Could fire pretty quickly. But when you're using 4 to 6 shots to drop a single enemy with a shotgun, there really wasn't much of a positive trait, and for some reason, the reload animation was on the slower side too, despite you constantly having to see it. I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather have a spam shotgun be too weak than too strong. But the S12 was so weak, it was almost unviable. In fact, it was actually unviable on certain maps. Easy pick, worst shotgun in the game. Sniper rifles. The SVUAS. Now, snipers in Black Ops 2 were pretty fire across the board, right? I mean, even though I'm saying the SVU was the worst in the game, I want to make it clear it was still a very powerful weapon if you knew you were doing. In fact, I think this one was actually one of the most underrated snipers in COD history, but since it was technically the worst in Black Ops 2, here it is. Semi-auto sniper, extremely low recoil, would kill with a single shot to the head, but would need 2 shots to the body, and possibly even 3 shots if you hit someone in the arm or the leg, which, that is rare, but it was annoying, and it did occasionally happen. But then again, if you aimed high and stayed consistent, this could be your best friend. Could also be pretty incredible at holding down objective points or securing entire lanes of the map. I mean, it fired so quickly. For a gun with 1-shot kill potential, that's cool, I guess. It was pretty satisfying to pop people one right after another for insta-kill headshots, and on top of that, the magazine was 12 rounds by default, so you could spray and pray pretty reliably. Honestly, I think this sniper was pretty good. But since I had to pick something to be the worst in Black Ops 2, one of the best, if not the best Call of Duty ever, here it is. Now we get to the LMG category. Does anybody care? Is there love for LMGs? You let me know. I mean, I'm going to go with the QBB. Strange case. Pretty average time to kill compared to other LMGs in Black Ops 2. Felt like a pea shooter due to the recoil and the fire rate. Would only deal between 20 and 35 damage per bullet. Made it a 3 to 5 shot kill. Would take more shots to kill than any other LMG in the game, but it did make up for it with a fire rate, which was 937 rounds per minute. So even though the damage per shot was the lowest in the class, time to kill was average. So why was it the worst LMG? Well, because the recoil I deemed unpredictable. I mean, actually hitting those 3 to 5 shots was a lot easier said than done, especially since the handling speeds were so slow, which would make the QBB feel clunky and awkward compared to other LMGs. You had the MK48, you had the LSAT, you had the Hammer, all of which were capable of 2-shot kills. The QBB was basically the Type 95 assault rifle, but converted into an LMG, and that wasn't necessarily a good thing. Needing to hit somebody 4 to 5 times before dropping them can get annoying with a weapon that handled this slowly and kicked so unpredictably, and ultimately, there really wasn't much reason to use this LMG over the other heavy hitters. I mean, the LSAT or the Hammer? Come on. Which one are you picking? Now we arrive at the pistols. I'm going to go with the Executioner. Did you know this gun was originally called the Raging Judge? Honestly, I can't decide if that's a cooler name than the Executioner or not, but ultimately, it doesn't matter what you call it because it sucked no matter what. And yes, I know there's a few people who will try to defend it, but you're not going to change my mind on this any more than you do the Cheekum. It's the worst pistol in the game. I am willing to hear arguments that it wasn't as bad as people said it was, but I am not willing to cave or hear arguments that there was a pistol in Black Ops 2 that was worse, because the pistols in this game were incredible, except the Executioner. 5-shot revolver. Used shotgun shells instead of bullets, which means it was actually the first shotgun pistol in Call of Duty history, and in theory, the shotgun pistol with 5 shots could have been amazing. Sounds awesome. But in practice, hot, stinky garbage. The Executioner kicked like a mule, so it was almost impossible to get consistent follow-up shots, which was super awkward because of how weak it was, and you were almost certainly going to need to shoot 3 or 4 times at somebody before you dropped them. The range was embarrassing. I mean, the pellets completely disappeared after 12 meters. Each shot of the Executioner would shoot out 8 pellets like a normal Call of Duty shotgun, but each of those pellets would deal as little as 6 damage. You heard me right, 6 damage. And if you were further than 4 meters away, well, just blow them a kiss, because you're done. And did I mention the reload animation in this thing took forever? I mean, if I saw somebody coming at me with an Executioner, I was not worried. Even if you're running fast mags, it took almost 3 seconds to load the Executioner back up, which was by far the slowest pistol reload in the game. Again, I'm willing to hear your arguments that it wasn't as bad as people said it was, but I will not hear an argument about somebody saying there is a worse pistol, because objectively, there is not. Now let's talk about the worst launcher in Black Ops 2. Has to be the Small. It was actually a pretty good launcher overall, but it gets the worst spot today because of the abysmal ammo capacity. The Small could be free-fired, it could be locked onto an enemy streak, and the damage was solid, but you only got 1 rocket when you spawned in, so once you pulled the trigger 1 time, it was completely useless. It just took up space in your inventory. If you wanted a launcher that would be good for killing enemy players, you could take an RPG, which had more ammo, more generous 1-shot kill range. If you wanted a launcher for shooting down kill streaks, you would take the FHJ. More ammo, better targeting system. I mean, I guess if you were running Scavenger, then the Small had some potential, but ultimately, it was an all-rounder type of launcher that didn't actually shine at any one particular thing. So, I think it's the worst in its class. And finally, we have the worst special weapon, the crossbow. It was admittedly meant to be a gimmick weapon, but compared to other specials, it was probably the least effective. I mean, it's going up against the ballistic knife, the combat shield, so obviously it's going to be the worst of the bunch, but that's not to say it was impossible to use, because there was a lot of people who put in the time, they put in the work, and they got really good with it, which was insane to watch. This version of the crossbow also came loaded with explosive tips by default, which that was nice since a guaranteed one-hit kill would be good if you stuck the arrow somewhere on the target. If you're one of the people who got crazy good with the Black Ops 2 crossbow, hats off to you. And there you have it, my friends. Let me know your list. I know not everybody's going to agree. Also, let me know which Call of Duty we should start on the class series next. It's a fun thing that we're doing here, and I truly, truly appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing. I'll see you soon.